Probably the most ugly place in the entirety of Tel Aviv. This is where buses go. If you ever want to go to a lot and you're in Tel Aviv, this is where you catch the bus. This is a pretty busy place during the day, but it's not really that busy, but it was huge. When they planned this in the 1980s, it had a lot of hope, but it was just a big white elephant. We're at the place where you catch buses. Now we're going to go down to the street, and you're going to really realize that Tel Aviv took in a lot of people from Africa, particularly from Eritrea and Somalia. And you'll see these people as we walk by. The plan is just like Jerusalem and many other central bus stations. They say, hey, we're going to bring a lot of people to buses. We might as well build a shopping mall. This one definitely did not work out. So we're walking down from the 5th floor. We'll get to the ground floor in a moment. And this is one scary, ugly place. This is in South Tel Aviv, which is a known neighborhood for African migrants who come here to Israel to wash dishes and to work in restaurants. There's a lot of coffee shops in Tel Aviv and restaurants, and these restaurants get their workers from Africa. Let's go. This place is bustling to a certain extent during the day. These stores have exceptionally low rent, and they really do not pay a lot of tax or any tax. They completely ignore the tax. So now we're going to walk outside. And you'll see the street. The main street here is Levinsky Street. And let me see how I get to it, because it's somewhat of a maze. But I do buy suitcases here in particular. I know in Jerusalem, I buy a suitcase. It'll run me 250 shekels. I come here. That same suitcase will be 100 to 120 shekels, which is pretty amazing because they're literally not paying rent and they're not paying taxes. And the place is disgusting. That's a beauty salon that, again, come here for the exceptionally low rent. In fact, we have an expert here on the politics of Israel, and I will ask him in plain English or Hebrew, how do these stores not pay tax? Hello. He'll answer us later. The average Israeli is petrified of the government, but apparently when someone's a migrant, fear disappears. They're quasi-legal here, which means they're not being thrown out unless they leave the country. They can't come back. So they could open up these businesses and not really fear paying sales tax, which is 20%. Okay, now we're on the street. This is Levinsky Street. There's also a light rail that's currently in the stages of being built. Right here. Tel Aviv is exceptionally expensive, as many of you have heard, but this neighborhood currently does not fit that bill. But if you come back here in another 20 to 30 years, it will be expensive as well, because you'll have the light rail and all these buildings will be torn down and new ones put up. I suppose at that point, this disgusting central bus station will be torn down as well by that time. I suppose this light rail will be done within 2 to 3 years, and everything will change at that point. If anyone needs crack cocaine, heroin, serious drugs, this would be the place to come to. It's mainly populated with people from Africa, but you have a smattering of Filipino caregivers that rent apartments together. Years ago, I would imagine this place was populated by Mizrahi or Sephardic Jewish people, immigrants from places like Morocco or Iraq, but not anymore. Here's 2 new buildings. You can see the gentrification happening as we speak. All these buildings you're looking at that are old and disgusting will be torn down in the next 5 to 10 years. There's a tremendous demand for housing in Tel Aviv. It's a super expensive city.
Super expensive.
Instead of tearing up the farmland, they're making old, decrepit 2, 3, 4-story buildings into taller buildings to provide more housing. Okay, let's go to the place where you have... Let's go to the place where you have the drug users. My friend is saying it's too dangerous. But I believe that's the park for drug users.
The park, we're going to park, you kaput.
He says if we go into that park, we don't get out. But you could see the city is renovating. The sidewalk is all brand new. They actually made the sidewalk wider because just like the demographics of Israel is telling us, they're expecting the population to double in the next 20, 30, or 40 years, then it'll double again. So literally they don't have enough land to place everyone and have farmland. You can't do both at the same time unless you build really tall buildings. Just a few 100 meters from here, you are looking at big office buildings. How are you, sir? We're only a few minutes from a very trendy neighborhood called Florentine, where Israeli youth, when they move out of their parents' house when they're 21, 22, 23, and 24, they move to Florentine because it's relatively inexpensive compared to the rest of Tel Aviv. And I believe the gentleman who just passed by probably lives in Florentine.
זה גם רכבת, זה הפגול. כל אחד בבת ים חולון.
This particular train track is going to end up going to Cholon, a city of Cholon just outside of Tel Aviv, which is really populated with people from Iraqi in Moroccan descent as well as Persian, mostly Sephardic. South Tel Aviv is primarily Sephardic, while the North Tel Aviv is more Ashkenaz. They have an expression here, as someone who's supposedly high class, they call him a northerner. If anyone's ever heard that term, they use it here. It's called a tzfoni, because the northern part of Tel Aviv is more expensive. Right now we're in the southern part of Tel Aviv. So literally they closed the entire city, digging, because they have to change the pipes to put big pipes for plumbing and water. So anytime they put up a train track, it's a huge endeavor to make the sidewalk wider, dig up the street to put bigger pipes. Then this next stage after that is to put up 20, 30, 40, 50-story buildings. So the whole area that we are walking right now is primarily populated with African migrants, with a smattering of Filipinos. I suppose when this place becomes gentrified, when the new taller buildings go up, rents will not be so cheap. Jewish Israelis, when they get older, love having Filipino caregivers. Then they rent an apartment together, 20 of them in a couple of rooms, and they pay 500-600 shekels a month rent. I believe finally we're hitting the end of the migrant neighborhood, if I'm not mistaken. Literally, they're building new Singapore or new New York City as we are walking the neighborhood. Allenby. You notice there's bike lanes, especially when they invented the electric bicycle or the corky net. It's a very efficient way to travel. In fact, we'll walk all the way to Allenby Street, where we hit the white Israeli neighborhood of Florentine, where it becomes completely different vibe. Almost like a dividing line between Africa and Israel. Beautiful supermarket. I feel like I'm in the Bronx. Another new building. They're waiting. Here they sell a product called Gat, which is a legal product in the state of Israel. In other places it's not, so we get a lot of
רוצה אני אביא לך למיץ? רוצה אני אביא לך למיץ? דיברתי לך שם, אני יכול לך כמה למטה.
Let me see how much they charge for God, because they also sell in the Shuk, Machane Yehuda. Do you speak English, sir?
Yeah.
My friend Chaim. You know Chaim? Tall, handsome guy, 45, 50 years old.
Okay.
He worked there. Is this your place? Do you own it?
Yeah.
How much they charge for God here?
We have many
100 shekels? 100 shekel for...
100 shekel, 130.
Okay.
איפה מצאת את זה עכשיו?
Yeah, let me get your phone number and I'll give you a call.
Oh, see online?
Tel Aviv, they sell God openly because it's completely legal in Israel. Beautiful place. How are you?
מישהו חמקות פה, תודה. תראו אותך עם המצלמה.
Okay, we're almost out of the hood. We only have another 20 to 30 meters.
הנה, יש פה 5 סטייקים עם קרטין.
Okay, I feel the freedom of moving to Israel as soon as we hit that corner. Wow, they made the sidewalk really wide. It's a really wide sidewalk. I imagine there'll be no cars on this road. Or there will be. It looks like there's going to be no cars on this road. Really wide they're building the sidewalk. Trains and corkinet and electric bicycles. That's how the Tel Aviv people are going to get around. Now we're in a different country right now. It's called Tel Aviv. And this one goes right down to the beach. We're on Allenby Street. And this doesn't go any further this way, but this is regular Tel Aviv. And this is the neighborhood of hipsters, relatively affordable, relatively inexpensive apartments. And they call this Florentine. And you got regular coffee shops. Everything's a little bit more affordable than the beach, which is approximately 25-minute walk. I gotta get going. Please give me a call.